in the finals. It's an interesting hand. We're going to keep it. I guess we play Evolving Wilds first, Finding Forest. Is that even good? It's kind of weird, but deck thinning, maybe. I mean, we're going to have to play Evolving Wilds at some point. All right, yeah, sure. Evolving Wilds, Finding Forest. Set up our Converge spells early. And then I guess we'll Skyline Cascade a Blister Pod, which is always strange. I mean, I guess this doesn't let us play a Coralhelm Guide on turn 2, but I'm not actually sure that's all that important anyway, especially when a Blister Pod's out. So let's get our single forest. Cascade down the Blister Pod. Look at that value. Just preventing damage all day. And we even get to do it again next turn? Carrier Thrall, sure. Well, there's our Exert Influence. Look at that value. All right. Well, I guess we cascade down Blister Pod again and set up to play Incubator Drone into either Cloud Manta or Oracle of Dust. So opponent is Bug. Grave Birthing. All right. So setting up some processing or for a Swarm Surge. Either of those is reasonable. Let's drop our Incubator Drone, get some bodies out there. All right. Pilgrim's Eye, opponent, let's see if they're 4 colors or just 3 color. They did miss a land drop, so they did need the Pilgrim's Eye just to play a land. Good Bone Splinters. Sludge Crawler, all right. I think Swarm Surge is on the way, which makes me want to exert influence his Carrier Thrall. But I could actually do the Sludge Crawler too. It's kind of a waste of an Exert Influence. I guess we just play Oracle of Dust here. I kind of want to Exert Influence something better. We don't die to Swarm Surge anyway, so it seems fine. Unfortunately, Exert Influencing Smothering Abomination is not a luxury we have, so we are in some trouble now. I guess I can block Cloud Manta on the Smothering Abomination, but that's assuming my opponent doesn't have Swarm Surge, which seems unlikely. I think my opponent is going to end up having it. If there was a way I could make Smothering Abomination lose a power, that would be nice. Oh, Radiant Flames. Well, that's actually pretty insane here. He's left with 2 dudes, but we're left with Oracle of Dust. Seems way better for us. Yeah, I can even play... Wow. I can even play Cloud Manta following it up. Yeah, we're absolutely playing Radiant Flames here. So we go Float a Mana. Is it gonna screw up our Radiant Flames? Let's hold control. So hold control, Radiant Flames. Sack the Scion. Board wipe. Cloud Manta, pass. Or actually, yeah, I guess. I don't really want to trade an Oracle of Dust for 2 Scions, so let's just play Cloud Manta and pass. And we have Exert Influence now too. Alright, yeah, worked out well. Mindraker, we'll just dump an island. And I'll steal a Mindraker at this point. That seems totally legitimate to me. Plus we have Blighted Cataract. We're in a pretty good spot here. Wow. Perfect time for him to play Vampiric Rites for us, since stealing Mindraker seems infinitely better when he's tapped out. So steal your guy. Looming Spires, our Manta, and attack for 7. So now we've got Blighted Cataract as well for next turn. So he still has Vampiric Rites up with the Scion tokens out. Despoiler, alright. 5/5 is pretty legit. Ooh, well, don't mind if I do. So now we get to tap that down. I guess we'll do it on a Spires. All right, concession. Cool. Well, that game worked out extremely well for us. That third was so important for our Converge, the 3 color. We wouldn't have been able to kill Smothering Abomination, and we wouldn't have been able to steal a Mindraker. So that worked out really well for us. Despoiler we don't see too often, so that's a bit unusual. So, as per usual, Radiant Flame's going to be insane in this matchup. Other than that, not too much of a sideboard plan. I guess Royal Mage's Trick has some random Exert Influence synergy, but 9 mana is so difficult to get to that I don't think that's going to happen. Scour from Existence is probably too expensive, even though it is a nice way to deal with Smothering Abomination. Especially considering we don't have a ton of ways to deal with Smothering Abomination. Really don't. Titan's Presence is like the best one. But Processor Assault, not good enough in this deck. Yeah, I think we're just going to leave it the same. Try it again. Well, let's say it's a keep. It's a bit land heavy, but we have Blighted Cataract, we have Anticipate, so we don't even have to play our Skyline Cascade early, which is a good place to be. Opponent is also keeping at 7. No Blister Pod, which is nice. Typically decks that play Blister Pod also run Bone Splinters, but our opponent also has Smothering Abomination, which is amazingly good with Blister Pod as well. Alright, Carrier Thrall likely getting Skyline Cascaded on turn 3. Okay, so set up for Anticipate, find something. Ooh, Rot Shambler's a good one for that deck. All right, let's Anticipate. Finding. Yeah, well, I think we know what we're taking. Actually kind of tempted to use Radiant Flames now. The main reason is I'm almost positive our opponent's got some Eyeless Watchers. If I let my opponent play Eyeless Watcher, he gets to sack the tokens and put Rot Shambler out of range. So I'm thinking it might be in our best interest to just play Radiant Flames. It's not that much value, which is a problem. But like I said, I think there's a pretty high probability our opponent's going to have Eyeless Watcher, in which case Rot Shambler is going to get pretty huge. Like, just dealing with a 4/4 is going to be an issue. The problem is I'm getting flooded, which makes the Radiant Flames play here a lot less good. I just don't think I can really beat a 4/4 so well with our deck. Have some ways, just hope my opponent doesn't have Eyeless Watcher. Ugh. Really is I feel like it's just wishful thinking. Like, it doesn't even have to be Eyeless Watcher. It could also be Scion, Call the Scions. That would also do it. All right, I'm going to play it. I don't think it's great. It's hardly even a 2-for-2 or 2-for-1. It's more like a 1-for-1. But like I said, if I don't do it and he plays any token producer, I think Rot Shambler gets out of range too fast. This could come back to haunt me, but I don't know how I deal with Rot Shambler otherwise. Now I kind of want him to play Eyeless Watcher just so I prove myself right, but we'll see. All right, put a swamp on top. Skitter Skin, okay. Well, I guess technically I can trade with a Skitter Skin. Could also leave it tapped down for a couple turns, which isn't bad either. Alright, he did have the Eyeless Watcher, kind of as expected. And we're going to have to take Skitterskin, but then I can Cascade it for a turn or two. Devastator. Well, problem is I kind of have to leave the Cloud Manta back because I can't trade 3 for 3 when I'm 7 damage behind. But we do have Devastator, which we're going to be able to play in just a couple turns here. All right, we're in a pretty rough spot, actually. All right, that was a bad draw, unfortunately. So we're going to take at least 5 next turn, and we're still a bit a ways away from Devastator, unfortunately. So next turn, even Cataract's not going to do it because we don't want to crack Cataract. We have to play Devastator on time. All right, so we go to 8. Gotta top deck something here, and we also had to hope our opponent didn't have anything, which neither of those things came true. So, rough spot. We got a top deck here. Yeah, Titan's Presence does work. All right. Titan's Presence works. Let's play the Cataract and pass. We're going to end up taking 7 damage. We're going to trade with a Mindraker, take down a Despoiler, and take 7. So I don't think we have any means of winning this anymore, unfortunately. So maybe it would have been better to just save the Devastating, or Radiant Flames, rather. But might as well play like we have an out this game, even though I've stated that we absolutely do not. But Radiant Flames, I guess, wouldn't have gotten us out of this anyway. Because of the Skitterskin, he could have just put a regen shield on it, even if I had the Converge. Alright, opponent just ended up drawing way better than we did this game. So, yeah, Incubated Drone wasn't going to get us out of that. So, this is a winnable match. It's going to be a challenging one. We're going to have to draw much better than we did this game. Radiant Flames play could have been a mistake. I don't know. I think we were losing that any way you slice it. If I'd held the Radiant Flames, Rot Shambler was going to get us. If I didn't hold the Radiant Flames, which I didn't, Skitterskin was going to get us. So it's just a real challenging one. So I could bring in Scour from Existence to take out Ulamog's Despoiler and Smothering Abomination. Is that worth it? It also deals with Skitterskin. I have Spell Shrivel for those right now, though, too, which should be good. Kind of like the way we're set up just fine, actually. I think we just got to draw a little bit better. Playing first. Yes, it's actually a very good hand. I've got all 3 colors, too. This time we are going to open with the Skyline Cascade. Even though I could technically wait on it. I think just in case we draw Coral Helm Guide or something. Might not be a good reason, we'll see. There's not a ton of things that punish me for playing the Cascade there. A 1-drop would have been like a mild punishment. Tightening Coil's not so good in this match because of like Smothering Abomination, and presumably something that's escaping my mind right now. Bone Splinters, which we haven't seen. So it might just be worth it to Tightening Coils. Lets me bash in. Well, change of plans. Now we just play Sky Spawner and pass. So I guess I could Tightening Coils into Exert Influence the Smothering Abomination, which is actually not the worst. That's interesting. So I can double block it, but I think we're just going to take it. Alright, got the 5th land, which is really nice. Good draw there. I guess I could have sacked a Scion if I didn't, but I'm going to get in with the Sky Spawner, drop an Oracle of Dust, and pass. Try and get to our Wavewing Elemental. So I guess if he plays Smothering Abomination, we are going to go on the Tightening Coils Exert Influence plan because we've got Scions of our own, and it's just too much value for him, I think. Actually, I get to just play Wavewing Elemental off my Scion, which is nice. I don't think we're dead to Swarm Surge yet. I'd rather just draw a land. Well, I did draw a land, but that's fine. So let's get in with Sky Spawner. Let's see. Swarm Surge is 4, 7, 10, 13, 16, 19, 22. We have 3 blockers. We're only going to be able to... Yeah, Swarm Surge is going to be a big problem, but we're still just going to swing with Sky Spawner and then drop Wavewing Elemental. I could Exert Influence's Void Attendant, and what that does is... So if I play Wavewing Elemental, am I dead to Swarm Surge? He swings with everything. I get to block 4 things, which means I'm going to take at least 9 damage, which is not lethal, and we get to kill a couple things. So it is definitely worth it to play the Wavewing Elemental here. Oh, I get to block 3 things, so I guess we take 12. This is still fine. I think I hold out on Evolving Wilds for next turn so I can get in for 9 damage from above plus have the Geopede. Like I said, we're not dead to Swarm Surge. We're going to take some damage from it, but we're not dead to it. We do get to kill, I guess, a couple Scions. We'll do some math. We'll figure it out. All right, Rot Shambler. Now I'm a little more tempted to just Exert Influence the Void Attendant. I can't do the Rot Shambler because then he can... Well, actually, do I care if he sacks 3 tokens? Then that's that much less. Yeah, that's actually a good point. I might just Exert Influence the Rot Shambler. If he wants to sack 3 Scions and take away from his Swarm Surge that much, I think that's actually okay. Yeah. So the reason to do Exert Influence on Rot Shambler, if I don't, and it's unblocked after he Swarm Surges, actually, does that matter? I could do Void Attendant too, I guess. Main reasons to do Rot Shambler are he sacks 3 tokens. He's only left with 5 guys on the board. He's definitely dead next turn. Let's just try and steal his Rot Shambler. Like I said, if he sacks 3 tokens, I feel like that's better for us anyway. Like, he legitimately wins on Swarm Surge. So this just tells me he doesn't have Swarm Surge, because I don't see this being better for him. Like, I could have just taken a Void Attendant there, but getting 3 guys off the board when our opponent almost assuredly has Swarm Surge somewhere in that deck. It also gets rid of his ramp element. I don't know. It gives him the choice, I guess, but we're not dead to Swarm Surge. He has to deal with our flyer. He actually has to deal with both of our flyers right now. And the reason he has to deal with Sky Spawner is because we have the Tunneling GOP. Did we get the match? Wow. All right, well, we won an 8-4, plus we got a Drana. So that's pretty awesome. Where are our packs at? There they are. All right. Sweet. That was a lot of fun. This deck panned out just infinitely better than I expected it to. Radiant Flames did also its sorts of legwork for us. So did Exert Influence. If somebody disagrees with my Exert Influence play there, that's okay. I'm willing to debate it. But like I said, it's kind of a weird play, I guess. It's like if he had the Swarm Surge, he wouldn't have sacked the tokens, right? If he had Swarm Surge in his deck, I don't even think sacking the tokens is right there, because you would just hope to top deck. You would just let him take the Rot Shambler and hope to top deck a Swarm Surge and be left with 3, potential extra attackers. So him sacking the tokens there, if he has Swarm Surge in his deck, I'm not even convinced that's better for my opponent. So just all around kind of strange, I think, if my opponent had Swarm Surge in his deck, to prefer to have a 4/4 and negate my Exert Influence rather than just let me steal a 1/1 and be left with 3 potential extra attackers for Swarm Surge, if all that makes sense. But like I said, yeah, this deck was not insane, but played very well for us and got a victory off of it. So very satisfying win, especially in an 8-4. Next draft will also be an 8-4. We'll see you then.